I had an accident when I was a baby and I lost my left eye. I don't have an eye socket I could put a fake eye in. It's just normal skin and some scars on a big patch of my face. They reconstructed my face with a later surgery this way. The right side and the bottom half of my face is completely normal. I have big side bangs that hide the left side of my face, so I don't freak anyone out, and I don't get weird looks. I've been going to the same school since I was 5, so the teachers and the kids know about it. We got a new teacher this week. He started by asking us to go around and introduce ourselves. When it got to me, he was rude and asked me, "Do your parents know you come to school looking like this? It's extremely disrespectful. Fix your bangs. I want to see your face." So I obeyed and tucked my bangs behind my ear, showing the left side of my face. He gasped. His face turned red. My classmates laughed, and he told me that I can let my bangs down. Later that day, my head teacher came to me to scold me. She told me I was wrong to shock the new teacher and I should have just told him about it. Did I do anything wrong? I just obeyed his orders. It's not my fault he ended up not wanting to look at my face. Eta? NTA 1000X. You followed his orders. Not your fault you only have one eye. Plus, if you told him I'm missing an eye, we all know his teacher instinct would be to have you prove it anyway, LMAO. Exactly. This teacher was rude AF. I despise educators who use their position of authority to bully students. And yes, intentionally insulting a student's appearance in front of their peers the way he did was being a bully. He was an R, and that resulted in him being embarrassed. The head teacher is also an R for trying to reprimand ops so simply existing. NTA. If the new teacher rebuked you publicly for acting disrespectfully, it was on you to rebuke him publicly by complying with his request. Also, consider taking your story to r/malicious compliance. I agree with your judgment, and that they should consider taking their story to malicious compliance. I thought of that sub immediately when I heard this story. NTA. Ask your head teacher why the new teacher thought it was right to comment on your appearance in the first place, maybe with parents/guardians involved, because that's a horrible way to treat a student. He embarrassed himself. You were just obliging his demand. Eta. Wow, this blew up overnight. Thank you for the upvotes and awards. One hopes the new teacher learned from his embarrassment and treats everyone with more kindness. That he complained to head teacher and did not apologize to op does not bode well for the future. He embarrassed himself and blamed a student. I hope he does a 180 in behavior, but it's not likely. Op, it would be good to tell your parents about the interaction in case the new teacher decides to take his embarrassment out on you in the future. NTA. The teacher put you in an awful position. Even if you were not missing an eye, there are so many viable reasons why someone would want to hide behind bangs. That teacher bullied you. Yes, you should file a complaint. Have your parents do it if they are willing to go to bat. That teacher has no business around kids. Exactly. My kid has been hiding behind a long fringe for ages now, to the point that it's actually something the teacher will raise in meetings to tell me that she spent time during the day with her fringe pulled back from her face or tucked behind one ear to show that she's had a communicative day. They even let her wear her hood up in class for weeks when the hairdresser cut it too short and she had a meltdown refusing to go into school because of it. Teachers have a difficult job, but being a hard ass over a kid having hair down over their eyes makes it needlessly worse on themselves. I suggest to involve the parents. Both the teacher and head teacher have been rude and disrespectful. They need to apologize in public. NTA. Yeah, glad you mentioned the head teacher. What exactly was her point? Did she actually scold a student for showing their face? How insulting and ableist is that? NTA. Teacher Cold came to you quietly as well and not called you out in front of class. Teacher was arrogant and he got taught that students may have their reasons. NTA. Your head teacher should be telling new teachers about issues like this. Or, new teachers should not be such jerks. And, not or. Both great ideas. Both should have happened. NTA. He told you to do so. You did. If you would told him why you've bangs, I think he wouldn't even believe you. So, he was the rude one here. Also, who says, do your parents know you're coming to school like this? It's extremely disrespectful. Fix your bangs. I want to see your face. That is extremely disrespectful. NTA. The other comments make a lot of good points, but also, it's very disrespectful of the head teacher to say your appearance is shocking, no matter the reason. Both teachers are acting like a shats. I would make a complaint against both of them. I agree. WTF. It is just a face with skin where an eye used to be. There is nothing shocking about that. NTA. He told you to move it out of your face, so you done it. If you had declined or answered back, you would have gotten in trouble. Some people are just snowflakes. Yeah, I find myself doubting he'd really be all that understanding until he saw it for himself. NTA. If your hair goes against dress code, then the school should have informed him you have an exemption exactly to avoid this situation. Otherwise, it's none of his business and he 5000x got what he deserved. This reminds me so much of a situation at our school at around grade 8 or so. A schoolmate of ours had cancer and was going through chemo. Ergo she was bald, and she always wore a hat to school. A teacher told her to take it off. He probably just thought she had short hair. Various of us classmates told the teacher he should just leave it. Well, she then spoke up that she has cancer and would rather not, and that luckily shut him up. I don't get why teachers don't get these things shared by other teachers. It's kids who have to go through enough without having to go explain themselves to every new person. OBTW, she is fine and healthy now and currently studying at university, so it all went well. NTA. And the head teacher is an even bigger asshole than your new teacher. Yeah, op, keep an eye out for both of them. NTA. Classic case of victim blaming. Your parents need to tell the principal he needs to nip this in the bud. The new teacher needs to own his mistakes. Head teacher equals principal. That's the woman who told off Opus. Guaranteed the teacher didn't mention that he called you extremely disrespectful when discussing with the head teacher what happened. I'd suggest you tell your parents about the incident and suggest they ask the head why the new teacher felt it appropriate to call you out in front of everyone like that. This was a serious failure by the teacher regardless of the reasoning behind your choice of how to wear your hair. NTA. NTA at *ALL*, and your teacher should have known better than to react, even if he was shocked. I've met students, I'm also a teacher, with no hands, with severe burns, with all kinds of unique appearances, and never shown shock, surprise, or anything. People are people, damn. Sorry you had to deal with that from two educators who should definitely know better. NTA. You did as the teacher instructed. Have your parents talk to the head teacher about whether or not she wants you to obey your teachers. Besides, he didn't just tell you, or, hey, politely ask you, to move your hair. He did so with insults. He was justly rewarded. Actually, while I was tongue-in-cheek about your parents contacting the school, that last is a good point. There are different ways to ask a student to do something. He shot immediately for demeaning and degrading. Your parents might gently suggest that you would have behaved more kindly if he had. NTA. You're a legend. What kind of adult, with a job mentoring children, *AUDIBLYGASPS* at one of their students? A terrible one. NTA. Where in the world is having bangs, even if it covers part of your face, disrespectful? That's absurd. And a teacher shouldn't be commenting on your appearance, especially when it is in no way distracting. I'm a teacher, and I'm % behind this maneuver. That teacher was being rude and shirty for no reason and you gave them exactly what they asked for. I hope it taught them a lesson. Good job you. I have no idea how old you are, but I would make a complaint about both teachers. Have you told a parent? This would have me at the school quick. Agreed. I used to be a high school faculty head in Scotland. If a member of my staff had behaved like the new teacher, I'd have torn him a new a-hole, figuratively speaking. I don't know how things work where the op goes to school, but I'd be advising a parent here to go straight to the local authority director of education given that the height behaved in a completely unacceptable manner. Unfortunately, the habit of adults is to blame the child when they are at fault. It isn't you, it is them. It's as hard to gain respect of kids, but far harder to regain that respect once they have lost it the way they did, by being rude to you. This IDK how old oppies, but that's definitely not something a supposedly mature adult can expect from a child. What kind of consideration is this supposed to be anyway? Don't show your face, because it's scary. Oh wow. Would op get in trouble if they chose to wear their hair up from now on? Truth is, the teacher fucked up, and for some reason, the head teacher is enabling him, maybe for strategic reasons, for instance, to avoid conflicts between colleagues, at the expense of a child's happiness. I hope that at least they aren't proud of the BS they're fabricating. NTA. That teacher is the asshole for criticizing your appearance. Some boomers don't even know what respect means. The odds are very much against a new teacher being a boomer. Most of them are retiring, or retired from teaching by now. NTA. Disrespectful to who? It's just a hairstyle. Even if you weren't covering anything up in particular, there was no need for the substitute to comment in the first place. Maybe you cold tried telling him you had an injury you were covering, but given his rudeness, I don't know if that would have worked. NTA. Both teachers owe you an apology. The teacher was rude. The head teacher was way out of line to make you feel guilty, as if your appearance was offensive. You did nothing wrong. NTA. Now on a much more important note. I'm sure people ask all the time, but have you considered any cool stuff to complement the missing eye? Like one of those Hamza eye symbols tattooed on the skin? That'd be cool AF. I always wondered what I would do if I lost an eye. NTA. You have bodily autonomy and can fix your hair the way you please. There's obviously some exceptions, but this isn't about those. That remark from the teacher is an outdated way of thinking. My mother has remarked on bangs in my face. I was an adult, ugh, and needs to go away. You complied with instructions, despite the disrespect shown towards your autonomy. He got what he asked for, to see your face. Now, take your parents in, and bring both teachers in, and ask why you are being harassed for a medical condition, complying with instructions, and fixing your hair. And ask if you are responsible for those teachers' feelings, both of their feelings, because the second one seems to feel a degree of control over something that was handled already. NTA equals malicious compliance rules. I vote you tie your hair up just for this class. You should have a formal meeting with parents and administration and say I'm so sorry to horrifically traumatize you by having a debilitating medical condition when I was a baby. It was awfully insensitive of me to go lose my eye like that. I've learned a valuable lesson from this. I shouldn't bother to follow your orders anymore, since you clearly don't know what you're doing. I think we can all agree on this point. Thank you NTA. NTA is someone with one eye as well. It's his fault X.